Hey everybody, welcome back to Dear Twin Flame. So I wanted to talk about something that came up when I was recording the last video. It's just something that I've learned that I think makes sense that I'd like to share so other people can learn too. It's the idea that we repeat our lessons until we get the lesson or till we learn the lesson and then we're released from it. If we keep reacting or responding to a lesson the same way over and over, the lesson keeps repeating until we change our response. That's the idea. So, for me, I kept getting robbed, to be quite honest. We had our truck stolen with all of our stuff in it. I had my purse stolen. I had our house, we had furniture from our backyard stolen. I had a Christmas angel stolen. There just seemed to be a repeat occurrence of theft from my life in one way or another. It was all things that were taken. And what I realized when I look back on it, and it stopped when I changed my reaction. So when I look back on it, I remember the first time I was angry, I felt victimized, the world is unfair, people are creeps, there's no good left in the world. And as long as I kept staying in that mindset, it kept happening. So when we had our truck stolen, we all were very affected by it. It was in the end of a vacation. We weren't at home. We had our truck stolen, all of our stuff in it. It was a huge loss. And I was stuck in the mindset that why me? Like, why did these things happen to me? People are selfish. Don't they understand? Are they that self-absorbed that they can't understand the effect that they're having on others? And why me? And I'm a victim, and it was all, and I did see the good in humanity through the response of people trying to help us, but in comparison to how I felt victimized, it didn't balance. I didn't find the balance. And then I had my purse stolen, and it put me in an uncomfortable spot because I felt victimized again. I wanted to blame other people. It wasn't my fault. And look what they're doing to me, because now I have to go and replace all these pieces of ID, and it makes me walk in an uncomfortable place since I don't like having to do those kind of things, or at least I didn't like having to go and ask people, well, for help, first of all, but I didn't like the process of having to go out in public and talk to people I didn't know and go through processes I didn't understand, and it made me walk in a very uncomfortable zone. And so again, I felt like I was a victim and that I was being punished for other people's selfishness and why me, and this sucks and blah. And that time I learned I can do this. So each time I learned I learned a little bit of a lesson, but I didn't learn the lesson. So, then we had our furniture stolen, and then it wasn't as, the repercussions of it weren't as bad. I put information out, I talked to the police, I did the things that made me uncomfortable without too much unease, but I still felt like I was being victimized because why me? Why did somebody do this to me? Blah, blah, blah. And then I had my Christmas angel stolen last year, and it was the first time that I had something taken from me and it's not that I don't like my Christmas angel, I very much do. She was a beacon of light in the dark of winter, which made me feel warm and made home feel welcoming, and I loved her very much. But my mindset on it, when I realized it was gone, at no point did I feel like a victim. At no point did I want to lash out and say, horrible people did this to me. My mindset was, well, I guess I no longer needed her. I I got what I needed from her, and I hope whoever took her gets what they need from her as well. Whether that's a lesson in not to steal, or whether that is a comfort that we got from her when we returned home, or whether that was money to support a habit or support their family or whatever it was. I hope she brought them as much comfort as she brought me. And when I changed my mentality to, well, I suppose the universe is saying I no longer need her, it was like being freed from a belief that no longer served. And I know it's not nearly the severity of, losing our truck and all of our things, but they're just things. They aren't people. They aren't our truth. They aren't they aren't who they don't make us who we are. They're just things. Just like money's just a thing. Like, it's not our truth. So to be able to let that go and say it's no longer needed, and something else is in my path, and it will allow me to, walk a different path. It's very freeing. It's very lightening. It just doesn't hold any power over me anymore. So the reason I brought this up was I feel like there's a repeating situation with my twin flame. So, dear twin flame, there is a repeating situation that keeps happening to your family that I feel you need to change your response. And maybe that will change the repeat, and it will no longer hold power, and will no longer be a lesson that you need to address. So you'll stop coming full circle and being in the same position again in another year, or another 3 years, or another 5 years, or however frequent it feels you need to learn this lesson. But I feel like when I recognized the lesson and I changed my response, I was released of the lesson, so it doesn't happen anymore. And even if it did happen, it no longer holds power over me, so I can let it go, and it's inconsequential. So that would be my lesson to you, dear twin flame. You're on a repeat cycle, and try changing your response. Try changing the idea of being a victim. And I'm not saying that, just change your response. See what happens. You might be pleasantly surprised. It might help. It's just a suggestion. That's all. I hope everybody's having a great day. And dear twin flame, you are loved and you are missed.